So good evening and welcome. Welcome to Divine Healing Valley Spirituality and Healing Meet, our regular Wednesday meet, and I welcome all the guests today. The topic for today is suffering, the second arrow. This is based on Lord Buddha's teaching. So we're going to start a series of teachings on Buddha, and this is the first session that we are conducting in that line. So how many of you are aware of the Buddha's teaching? I'm sure all of you must have heard about it, know something about it. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to talk of the Buddha's teaching in this series now. And today being the first session, let us start with the basics of what we understand from the Buddha's teaching. Now, we all know the background, so I will not go into the history and geography of where he was and who he was, right? We all know Siddhartha Gautam, a prince, was leading a very princely life, was kept away from all the suffering and misery of life because there was a you can say prediction that he is going to give up everything, give up the worldly life and become an sadhu. तो सन्यासी बनेंगे ऐसा बोला था, तो उसको रोकने के लिए his father, the king, shielded him from all the sorrows. But as it was destined to be, he came across a sick man, he came across an old man, and he came across a dead man, and he became aware of the sufferings of the world. So the first thing that he realized was the world is full of suffering. And in fact, his statement was, Dukkham, Dukkham, Sarvam Dukkham. So he saw the world is full of suffering. So is there an end to it? Is there a way we can be free from suffering? That was the starting point of his journey. And then, of course, Siddhartha started his journey, and eventually, when he realized, when he got self-realization, he became the Buddha, the enlightened one. And then the teachings that he gave made a huge difference to the humanity and mankind, and he's considered as one of the avatars. Yes. So that is, in short, the background that you need to know about Buddha. So now coming to the teaching, started with suffering. So our first topic today is suffering. So we know suffering is something that we have experienced in life, some point of time, and then we have outgrown that suffering, and some of us are still in the middle of that crisis of suffering. So what is the essence of suffering? Let us look at that. Okay. So what Buddha said is, there's a famous quote. First I will quote that and then we will get into the discussion. So it was like, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. We have heard that. We have heard that. Yeah. So he explains this in a very, very profound manner when he says that suffering is the second arrow. So this is a story of a second arrow. So the first arrow is something which is destined to happen as per the karma. So Buddha's teaching is also based a lot on karma, or the cause and effect. Yeah, just like many other Hindu philosophies. So karma being you can say the foundation of the Buddha's teaching. So he said, pain is a result of karma. तो जो हमको पेन हो रहा है लाइफ में, जो भी सिचुएशन आ रही है पेनफुल, so it could be an accident, it could be a disease, it could be a breakup, it could be a breakdown in a relationship. So whatever is happening in your life as a situation, whatever is coming, that is coming because of karma. So it is a karmic pain. It is destined to happen because it is the karma coming back to you. तो पहला जो arrow है वो पेन है. Everybody okay with that? The first arrow that comes to you is a karmic pain. So it is destined to happen as per the karma. It is the pain. What is the second arrow? Second arrow क्या है? Anybody wants to make a guess? What is the second arrow?
The suffering because of expectation.
Suffering because of expectation. Okay. That could be one. Yes, what you said is right. Second arrow is the suffering. So that is the topic that we are going to right now. Suffering, the second arrow. So the second arrow is called the suffering. Now, how is it different from the pain? And what makes us suffer the second arrow again and again and again? It can last for lifetimes. It can last for many, many years. Okay, so it is a individual choice. इसीलिए बोला ना, सब पेन इनएविटेबल है, पेन तो होना ही होना है, लेकिन सफरिंग ऑप्शनल है. So somebody can suffer for an incident which happened 20 years before or maybe 30 years before and still suffering. तो ये सेकंड एरो क्या है? Anybody who wants to explain? किसी को समझ में आया हो? Anybody? You can just unmute and shout out your response. Welcome, Sanjeev.
Yeah, Sanjeev sir will answer.
नहीं, वो तो फिर that will take one program. He will come. He will say that at the last. Okay. Anybody else who wants to share? And you don't need to. Second arrow
Shashi ji,
is
maybe the second arrow is the perception of pain.
okay,
How do
very
you
good.
perceive what that pain means to you?
Okay. Yes. Very good. So see into your life, look into your life, and you will actually see that pain, क्या pain था और कहाँ पे suffering आपने किया. बिल्कुल सही है परिणा जी. Let's acknowledge Parina ji for that. And Anshu ji says, second arrow is driven by our thoughts. Okay. So both are correct. But let us have a deeper understanding of what is suffering. Anybody else who wants to share? What is suffering? Everybody agrees to it that the first arrow is the pain which is inevitable because of our karma. वो हमारे कर्म हैं, जैसे हम बोलते हैं, तो सिचुएशन बन के आई है. It could be a disease, it could be an accident, it could be a breakdown in relationship, it could be anything. Correct? Loss of job, loss of finances, whatever. So now you can think of the situations in your life. Yes? So all that was karmic. The first time it happened, it was karmic. But if it becomes again and again and again, somehow we have triggered into the pattern of a suffering. Okay. So suffering is, now you can imagine, एक एरो आपको लग चुका है, अब आप उस एरो को बाहर निकाल रहे हो और फिर अपने अंदर मार रहे हो. ठीक है, उसने मेरे साथ बुरा किया, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था. Now you are putting that arrow into you again. You are the one who is doing that. 20 साल हो गए, अभी तक आप सफर कर रहे हो. 25 साल हो गए, you are still suffering. So the pain is long gone. पेन तो खत्म हो चुका, वो इंसिडेंट खत्म हो चुका. किसी ने आपको कुछ बुरा कहा, किसी ने आपके साथ कुछ बुरा किया, वो 20-25 साल पहले खत्म हो चुका है. उसका पेन भी नहीं होगा. अगर किसी ने थप्पड़ मारा तो वो थप्पड़ का पेन भी नहीं होगा, लेकिन उस थप्पड़ की गूंज, जैसे बॉलीवुड लैंग्वेज में बोला जाता है, उस थप्पड़ की गूंज अभी भी आपकी जिंदगी में गूंज रही है. सो यू आर सफरिंग. Get my point? So either it has become a pattern and it is repeating again and again and again in your life. That is an indication of suffering. Or you have not been able to forgive and you are regretting and you are blaming the other person. That is suffering. Yes. What else can be suffering? Your expectations. It should not have happened, or it should have happened this way, but it did not happen. So you are angry and upset and hurt. That is suffering.
Suffering can be physical also because of some disease.
Yeah.
So what is that suffering? Like
Disease,
if
as I
somebody
said,
is
very good, Simiji, good point raised. So disease, as I said, is a karmic pain. Okay. But I'll just give you an example and you will know what is suffering. A person who is suffering from headache can bring the roof down. मेरे सर दर्द हो रहा है, मैं मर गया, मैं बर्बाद हो गया, मेरी जिंदगी खराब हो गई, ये सर दर्द मेरी जान ले लेगा, all that. And somebody has a brain tumor and he is laughing away. He knows he is going to die in 6 months' time and he is happy. So the second case, there is no suffering. The first case, a headache can also give you a lot of suffering. Pain तो रहेगा. Suffering कितनी है आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. सिमी जी.
How do you differentiate between a patient who is bedridden? This is what I am asking because I have seen my mother suffering. So what do you call a suffering or a pain? I have seen her suffering and I could feel that when I touched her hand. or even I
Physical
used to
pain,
keep.
understand this. किसी को headache हो रहा है, I will not go into specific of your case. Okay, I am just giving an example. Everybody can relate to it. Okay, क्योंकि वो थोड़ा personal हो जाएगा ना, तो उसमें आप थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा attached हो गए,
ठीक है,
है ना?
yeah.
Headache में भी pain हो रहा है, brain tumor में भी pain हो रहा है, correct? हेडेक में आप
Yeah.
दवाई ले लोगे, 3-4 घंटे में आराम मिल जाएगा, या 6 घंटे में आराम मिल जाएगा, या अगले दिन सुबह तक आराम मिल जाएगा. You know it. Still somebody can be shouting and howling. हाय तौबा मचा रहे हैं. ठीक है? Brain tumor, the person knows, the patient knows he is going to die in 6 months' time. And you have seen that in many, I've actually seen that in live cases, huh? But I will relate to one movie, Anand movie में राजेश खन्ना को देखा था. Cancer patient, he knows he is going to die and he is very happy and he is spreading happiness around. कि जितने दिन हैं उतने दिन तो खुशी मना लो. So it is, the suffering has nothing to do with the magnitude of the pain. Pain can be little, suffering can be huge. Pain can be big and suffering can be absolutely minimal. Okay, just inquire into this and very soon I will give you a mathematical formula. So that will ease your vision and give you more clarity. Okay, let's acknowledge Simiji. Very good. Anybody else who wants to share? Yes, Sanjeev, go ahead.
I'll give you present example. Today afternoon, I started having pain in my left lobe, one of the tooth and gum, and while I was eating, and something, I don't know what happened, कुछ हुआ अचानक बहुत दर्द हुआ, and I was with the client's place, and I did not have an option to go to dentist, and I couldn't go till now because जब तक वहां से फ्री हुआ तब तक डेंटिस्ट का टाइम खत्म हो गया था. पेन अभी भी है, मैं जैसे कुछ में च्यू कर रहा हूँ संग के संग पेन हो रहा है, बट आई एम हैप्पी, आई एम ओके. पेन बहुत हो रहा है, अगर मैं बोलूँ पेन नहीं हो रहा, पेन बहुत हो रहा है. यहाँ पे मैं हाथ लगा के थोड़ा सा दबाता हूँ तो दर्द हो रहा है, तो पेन है ये. बट सफरिंग इज माई चॉइस, बिकॉज ऑफ पेन मैं सफर करूँ या नहीं करूँ. दैट्स व्हाट आई थिंक शशि यू आर सेइंग.
Absolutely right. Very good, Sanjeev. So that is a live example sharing from Sanjeev. Yeah. Yes, Vijayji, go ahead.
Shashi Dhar, but what Simiji is trying to convey is that pain, when it's lasting long and it's unbearable pain, it's creating a physical suffering. It may not be a mental suffering, but a physical suffering that is lasting long. I think that is what she is referring to.
So what is your
Yes.
take on that? What is your take on that?
So maybe a pain which is very longer in duration becomes a suffering?
No. Pain and
No.
suffering are totally different. You have to understand the distinction very, very clearly. Pain karmic है, suffering optional है. वो आपकी personal choice है. दोनों को दो लोगों को same situation में डाल दो, their suffering will be different magnitude, not the same. But pain will be the same.
So,
Get my point?
Simiji, what Shashi Dhar is saying is that I mean defining suffering as something which is relating to the mind. So
Yes.
suffering is something which is happening because of psychological reasons. Which if you are in a positive state of mind, in a state of giving mind, and in the state of acceptance, you can overcome the suffering part, but pain will stay.
Very good. That's a good understanding. Yes. Okay. Let's acknowledge Vijayji and yeah, Sanjeev, you want to share something?
Yeah, only thing when Vijayji shared, taking Simiji's example, when the pain was for longer period in the body, still Vijayji, that is a physical pain, that is not a suffering. That's the difference. Physical pain is a pain, whether longer, shorter, high intensity, low intensity, that's pain. That's the difference. You absolutely got it.
Perfect. Very good. This distinction is very, very important. So that's why I'm taking some time so that it is, going right into the understanding, right understanding is there regarding the pain and suffering. Yes. Welcome.
VP Singh.
Yes. बताइए सर, बहुत
Suffering
दिनों
is
बाद आ रहे हैं.
something, suffering is what we create mentally on the event happening to our body or outside. It is a mental creation, as you said. Suffering is optional. This knowledge I got in 2004. The life changed completely after that.
Fantastic.
When one of the
Very good.
person was doing my past life and all, he said, "Can you recall any painful event?" I said, "No. Events are there, but there is no pain now." So that
Okay.
mental vomiting is stopped.
Very good. Very
Thank
good. We will come to that also. How you can reduce suffering. Yes. पेन तो रहेगा सर. पेन तो अगर फिजिकल पेन है, जैसे अगर पिन चुभा
पेन
दो,
तो रहेगा, पेन रहेगा.
अगर कोई बोले कि मेरे को पेन नहीं हो रहा तो मैं उसको पिन चुभा देता हूँ अभी, तो भी पेन शुरू हो जाएगा. हाँ. तो पेन तो रहेगा. You can't avoid pain. That is inevitable. That is karmic. It is bound to happen. But having said that, you can make the suffering to whatever extent you want. Maybe reduce it to 0, or maybe make it 10 times the magnitude of the pain. Right? So your actual suffering has nothing to do with the magnitude of the pain. You need to understand this very, very clearly. Then you will be able to accept the karmic patterns of your life very easily. क्योंकि आपकी लाइफ में कर्मा is not coming as a punishment. Karma is there for a learning. How many of us are afraid of karma? कर्मा कोई punishment नहीं है. Law of karma is not a punishment, by the way. Law of karma is simply giving you a opportunity to learn something from that event which is happening, which is destined to happen. And that learning is important for your spiritual growth. Understand this. If Buddha had not gone through the suffering of humanity, possibly he won't have walked on the path of enlightenment. वो सिद्धार्थ ही रहते, राजकुमार से राजा बन जाते और एक अच्छा राजा बन जाते. Very kind, very nice king he would have become, but he won't have got into the enlightenment state. For him to realize that suffering was important. Why people are suffering? Is there a way to end this suffering? That path took him to the path of realization. We also need to understand. अगर मेरी लाइफ में सफरिंग है तो वो मैंने खुद क्रिएट की है. जिस दिन ये एहसास हो जाएगा, आप सफरिंग खत्म कर सकते हो. That is what the context is today. So look into your life and see where are you experiencing pain and separate it from the suffering. Then you will be able to do something about the suffering. You can't do anything about the pain. You can do a lot about the suffering. So that is important. Yeah, we will consider that individually right now. मनी जी, अभी सोशल कॉज को लेके नहीं चलेंगे, वो फिर एक डिबेट सा हो जाएगा. We will look into our life and see where is pain and where is suffering. Yes. Okay. Anybody else who would like to share? So, if the understanding is clear till now, then we will move on. Anybody wants to share?
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
If the pain is because of failures in the life, it can be. It's not necessary that it is body pain or physical illness. It can be continuous process of failures and lot of, life tragedies. If that is the pain, then also the suffering is again mentally. How do we relate to that?
Failure is an event. Okay. Failure is an event and it can be karmic. Can be. Okay. The first time it happened, it was karmic. But then, instead of accepting that and improving upon it, if you latch on to it and make it a belief, I am a failure, now those patterns will keep on repeating. This is slightly subtle, so you need to understand this. A failure is an event. कोई 6th standard में fail होता है. I am giving you an example. A student fails in the 6th standard or 8th standard. Okay. And he is labeled as a failure. And he thinks that he is a failure. What will happen in life? He will keep on failing. एक event में fail हुआ, that's okay. He can still say, okay, I failed. Let me find out what is missing. ज़्यादा मेहनत करूंगा, ज़्यादा अच्छी पढ़ाई करूंगा, ट्यूशन करूंगा, मेहनत करूंगा, और मैं अगर टॉप नहीं भी कर पाए, at least I will be in the students who are passing the exams. Possible? Yes. He has got the learning then. But somebody who has not taken the learning can label himself as a failure and set up a pattern of failures in his life. It will keep on repeating. That is suffering.
Okay.
Simiji, can you look into it?
Yeah.
Can you see the
Yeah.
difference?
Yes,
Event,
please.
event को अगर आप label लगा देंगे, you can fail, but then you may not be a failure. The moment you say I am a failure, you are setting up patterns for the failures in future. And that is suffering. That is a suffering pattern.
Okay, I see. This is what I think I am doing.
So that is the introspection that we actually need to do. That is why I said pain and suffering are two different aspects of life. We need to understand it. Pain को जब तक हम suffering से अलग नहीं करेंगे, for most people, pain and suffering has collapsed. You can't distinguish between pain and suffering. And that is creating a major havoc in their life. क्योंकि हम सोचते हैं कि सभी कुछ destined है, सब destined नहीं है. पहली बार failure हुआ, वो destined था. उसमें से सही लर्निंग ले लेते तो ग्रोथ हो जाती, स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ हो जाती. स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ नहीं ली, कार्मिक लर्निंग नहीं ली, जब तक लर्निंग नहीं लोगे वो इवेंट रिपीट होंगे. कर्मा इज देयर टू गिव यू अ लर्निंग. इवेंट्स आर हैपनिंग इन योर लाइफ सो दैट यू लर्न फ्रॉम इट एंड ग्रो स्पिरिचुअली. स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ के लिए हो रहा है. अगर आपने वो सीखा नहीं तो वो दोबारा होगा. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू कैन रिलेट दिस इन योर लाइफ? Events have happened and happened and happened again and again and again because you were not learning it. And the moment you learned it, the event changed. It stopped happening. इसको एक और distinction में बोला जाता है. What you resist, it will persist.
Persist. It will persist. Yeah.
What you resist will persist. What you accept unconditionally or what you accept totally will disappear. So if you resist failure, guess what? You are going to get more failures. If you accept your failure, take the learning and grow spiritually, what will happen? That failure will vanish. That pattern of failure is gone because the learning is complete. The karmic pattern is broken. It will never happen again. Yes? Very good, very good, Simiji. That's a very good, profound learning actually. So it helps me to give you some more spiritual truths. So remember this, what you resist will persist in your life. And what you accept will disappear, will vanish, will never happen in your life. Okay. So coming back to our friend, suffering. So how many of you can see? Yes. कौन बोल रहे?
मैं अनिरुद्ध.
हाँ, कुछ बोलना चाह रहे हैं?
बस मैं ये आप ठीक यही मैंने यही समझा है कि पेन जो है जस्ट एक्टिविटी. जैसे कोई अपनी लाइफ में बहुत एक्टिविटीज होती हैं तो पेन इज वन ऑफ देम.
इवेंट बोल सकते हो, एक्टिविटी इवेंट हो सकता है.
इवेंट कह सकते हैं. इट इज वन ऑफ द इवेंट, दैट्स ऑल, नॉट मोर देन दैट.
यस, बिकॉज पेन हैपेंस बिकॉज ऑफ एन इवेंट. इवेंट हुआ, दर्द हुआ, चोट लगी, गिर गए, एक्सीडेंट हुआ, चोट लगी, बीमारी आई, दर्द हुआ. अंडरस्टैंड. कोई आपकी लाइफ से दूर हो गया, दुख हुआ, अंडरस्टैंड, दैट इज पेन. करेक्ट?
यस यस यस.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड. परफेक्ट लर्निंग है ये. ओके, एनीबडी एल्स हु वांट्स टू शेयर एनीथिंग? पेन एंड सफरिंग, किसी को कोई डाउट इसमें? Okay, good. So now we come to the next level of suffering. As per the teachings of Buddha, suffering happens because of our attachment, attraction, aversion, राग द्वेष. राग द्वेष की वजह से सारी सफरिंग हमारी है, because it is based on attachment in the outside world. बाहर की दुनिया के साथ आप अटैच हो गए हो, वस्तु, व्यक्ति, परिस्थिति, बाहर की दुनिया में यही है. अगर इनके साथ आप अटैच हो जाओगे, और ये आने वाली जाने वाली चीजें हैं, इट इज बाउंड टू चेंज. इट कैन नेवर बी कांस्टेंट. इट कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इफ यू आर अटैच्ड टू समथिंग इन द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड व्हिच इज 100% sure to change, you are destined to, you're setting up for a big upset or suffering in your life. Correct? So attachment, rag, dvesh, attraction, aversion. That is the cause of our suffering. Somebody comes into your life, you are very happy. What is the future of that? That person will go out and you will be sad. और उस दौरान अटैचमेंट हो गई तो और ज्यादा दुख होगा आपको. जैसे घर में फैमिली मेंबर ऐड होता है, बच्चा जन्म लेता है, बड़ी खुशियां होती हैं. तो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड, जब कोई परिवार से कोई शरीर छोड़ देता है, कोई आत्मा शरीर छोड़ देती है, तो क्या होगा? दुख होगा. तो आना और जाना, जो चीज आते वक्त सुख लाती है वो जाते वक्त दुख देगी, और जो आते वक्त दुख लेके आ रही है वो जाते वक्त सुख देगी. बीमारी है जैसे, कोई भी ऐसा इंसिडेंट जो आपको दुख दे रहा है, जैसे ही वो इवेंट खत्म हो जाएगा, उसका इफेक्ट खत्म हो जाएगा, इट विल बी हैप्पी और पीसफुल. So you have to understand, your attachment to the outside world is the result of suffering. How many of you can connect with this? Look into your life. Theoretically मजा नहीं आएगा. Look into your life and see, आपके सफरिंग की वजह क्या है? पुत्र मोह. I was present to this in the last 1 month or so. Attachment to my son. So that was coming up on and off, but I could easily distinguish it and keep it aside. So it didn't become a big issue. But then yes, it is there. Yes, पुत्र मोह हो सकता है. तो अगर किसी से इतने अटैच हो गए हो कि फिजिकल डिस्टेंस से भी आपको दुख हो रहा है, that is suffering. That is because of the attachment. Right? और जो रिश्ते में आपको दुख हो रहा है, जैसे वो रिश्ता खत्म हो जाएगा तो वो the suffering will also end. So you have to understand, outside world nothing is going to be constant. हमें कोई भी चीज हमेशा नहीं रहेगी. अपनी लाइफ में देखिए, कितने लोग, कितने रिश्ते आए, कितने लोग आए, कितने लोग चले गए. Even your body has been changing from an infant to a child to an adult to a teenager to an adult, and now middle age possibly, and maybe for some it is old age. Yep. I'm talking of the physical change in the body. Body is not changed same. Different levels पे आपके thoughts, emotions, feelings have been changing. Yes, it is changing. Nothing is same. And if you're attached to any point of time, at any point of time, if you get attached, what will happen? Result in suffering. तो राग द्वेष के बिना अगर आप अपनी जिंदगी को जी रहे हो, then you are free from suffering. Pains will come, but you will be free from suffering. How many of you can get it? Okay, so let's have some people share. What is opening up? तो हमने सफरिंग की इंटेंसिटी देख ली, हमने सफरिंग का रीजन भी देख लिया, अटैचमेंट, राग द्वेष. Anybody wants to share? What is opening up? Look into your life.
ज्यादा हैवी हो गया शशि, ऐसा लग रहा है.
Okay, over to you, Sanjeev.
मुझे लग रहा है ज्यादा हैवी हो गया है.
इसीलिए कह रहा हूँ, over to you. You can make it a bit light.
Carry on. Let's hear what others have to say. So I'll put it in a very simple word, what I understand. Somehow we have got into the world of materialistic attachment. And when I say materialistic attachment, इसका मतलब बहुत simple है. It is not only material. व्यक्ति, वस्तु, परिस्थिति जो हमसे बाहर है वो materialistic है. उस अटैचमेंट में और उसको पाने में डिफरेंस है. They are two different things. जनरली व्हाट वी कंफ्यूज इज कि मुझे एक अच्छी लाइफ चाहिए, एक अच्छा घर चाहिए, एक अच्छी गाड़ी चाहिए. दैट इज फाइन, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग इन दिस. लेकिन उसमें फंस गए तो अटैचमेंट. क्योंकि ध्यान रखिएगा, लाइफ में जो भी चीज आएगी वो जाने के लिए ही आई है, वो रुकने के लिए कभी नहीं आई है. सिंपल फॉर्मूला. हमने आपने किसी टाइम में बहुत सोचा एक पर्टिकुलर टाइप ऑफ मोबाइल खरीदेंगे, महंगा वाला मोबाइल खरीदेंगे, बहुत मेहनत करी, पैसे कमाए, कर लिया। एक दिन ये भी जाएगा, इंसान भी जाएगा, चीजें भी जाएंगी। तो जब आप किसी चीज को पाते हो, उसकी खुशी मनाओ, एंजॉय करो और मूव कर जाओ। आपके पास से कोई चीज गई, उसका दुख हुआ, गम मनाओ, मूव ऑन। पाने पे और जाने पे जहां अटक गए वहां सफरिंग। दैट्स व्हाट बुद्धा सेज,
Very good.
aversion and attachment, राग द्वेष। तो बुद्धा की बड़ी क्लियर लाइन है, ना खुशी में राग, ना गम में द्वेष। फील करो, फीलिंग इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम। उस मोमेंट में खुशी हो रही है, खुशी फील करो, दुख हो रहा है, दुख फील करो। वहां अटक गए तो सफरिंग। दैट्स इट, दैट्स व्हाट बुद्धा सेज। शशि, आई वुड लाइक टू कंट्रोल माई सेल्फ, नहीं तो पूरा पूरा सेशन निकल जाएगा।
Okay, let's
उससे
acknowledge Sanjeev.
इस टॉपिक से अटैचमेंट हो जाएगा।
Yes, I understand. Very good. Okay, so must have opened up something for someone. So who wants to share? Krishna,
So
BB
it's
Singh
trying
ji.
to actually relate to work कि boss same है, the way he behaves वो same है, but me and my colleague, they both perceive things very differently. मेरे को ज्यादा स्ट्रेस होता है, उसे नहीं होता है। तो नाउ मैं यहाँ पे अटक जाता हूँ and it keeps on repeating in my mind, और उससे डिटैच होना it gets difficult, जिसकी वजह से I suffer. Event pain वो अमाउंट उतना ही है for both of them.
Very good. बहुत बढ़िया. That is the way you need to actually do the introspection. इसी को स्वाध्याय कहते हैं. Now you know that the pain will be there because boss is going to be there, right? Only thing is the extent of suffering is up to you. It's a choice. Your friend chooses not to suffer and you choose to suffer. That's the only difference. Good, very good. That's the way, Krishna. Very good. Yes, let's acknowledge Krishna. Anybody else who would like to share? Vijay ji, Parina ji.
मेरा क्वेश्चन तो रूपा के पास चला जाएगा। रूपा, शेयर समथिंग।
I was waiting for that for Sanjeev Bhaiya to point me out.
नो, मैं आपके आंखों को समझ रहा था, या वेट कर रहे थे, बोलो तो सही। अटैचमेंट हो रहा था
नहीं,
ना।
I was actually retrospecting my life to connecting with the pain and suffering. तो मैं यही सोच रही थी कि एक, जैसे कृष्णा ने अभी बॉस का एग्जांपल दिया, मैं XYZ जिसका भी एग्जांपल रखूं, मुझे पता वो पेन है, मेरे को 2 दिन तक पेन मतलब वो रहेगा, वो सफरिंग थोड़ी सी होगी, मैं मूव ऑन करती हूँ, फिर वो एटीट्यूड फिर से आता है, तो फिर सफरिंग तो फिर रेगुलर हो जा रही है ना, रेगुलर हो रही है ना, तो उसको कैसे किया जाए? हाउ टू स्टॉप दैट?
What is stopping you from stopping the suffering? Tell me that first.
That is how I don't want to put in the public platform that words. I'm taking Krishna's example. So there's some samajh na Shashi, to you know it everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. See, if there
the
is a
attitude is
person,
every day coming like that, तो वो सफर तो रोज हो ही जाएगा ना, तो move
so
on
you
करो,
have
move
not
on करते हो,
accepted
फिर तुम
something.
वापस
Understand this. What you resist will persist. Why are you resisting that XYZ? I know who is that XYZ. Why are you resisting that?
क्या
जितना
resist
रेजिस्ट
क्या?
करोगे, चाहे वो बॉस हो या हस्बैंड हो या जो मर्जी हो, अगर किसी को रेजिस्ट कर रहे हो तो वो वैसा ही रहेगा जैसा आप रेजिस्ट कर रहे हो। उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लो, द वे ही इज एंड द वे ही इज नॉट, एंड द होल सफरिंग विल गो। व्हाट यू रेजिस्ट विल परसिस्ट, व्हाट यू एक्सेप्ट विल वैनिश।
Sometimes I think बोलना तीसरे बंदे का बहुत इजी है, जो गो थ्रू कर रहा है उसको मुश्किल लगता है।
मालूम है मुझे, इसीलिए मैंने बोला आई हैव गॉन थ्रू दैट। फॉर मी बॉस वाज ऑलवेज ए हिटलर। He could never move away. He could not be any other way. He is a born Hitler. वो हिटलर ही है, उसको गोली मार देनी चाहिए। I only thought it that way. But when I accepted that this is it, काफी कुछ अपने अंदर कचरा भरा हुआ है और वो तो एक इंसान ही है, तो वो मेरे को हिटलर नहीं
Yeah,
लगा
but
उसके बाद.
again, you have to think.
You have to
Suffering to move.
introspect, Rupa. I cannot solve your problem right away, but you have to introspect in it and see. The amount of suffering is your choice. I can only give you some insight. You have to work on it. Suffering is a choice, is an option.
I do understand that, but again, how to stop when उधर से ball आई जा रही है, correct? I know I have to.
अभी
Okay.
शशि जी, एक साधना शिविर करना पड़ेगा इनके लिए.
हाँ, क्या करना पड़ेगा?
साधना में लाना पड़ेगा थोड़ा, तभी सदेंगे ये.
कोई बात, हम अपनी लाइफ में देखते हैं. रूपा, you will have a one-to-one with me later on. ठीक है? Introspect in it. Yes, Sanjeev, go ahead.
I do not know what Rupa is saying. Real life situation, I can only connect general. I can say one thing. And when Rupa is saying this is not for Rupa, this is for everyone. Even before we are thinking so much how to get out of it, I would say the first level of to get free is to differentiate between pain and suffering. Just differentiate. How to drop that suffering, second step. Differentiation is the first step. And moment you get clarity in that differentiation, and on Rupa's behalf to everybody, and what Rupa is talking is not Rupa's situation, it is like everybody feels the same way. Understand first and foremost, introspect, understand, have clarity, ask as much as question to Shashi or anyone or even to me. Differentiate between pain and suffering. That's most critical, I would say.
Absolutely. That is why I've been spending so much time on the basic understanding of what is pain and what is suffering. Okay, now let me connect those two with a formula. How many of you want a formula to end your suffering? I've given that before also possibly, but I will give that again. Okay. So mathematical formula. People who are good in maths, who have studied maths, or who are even bad in maths, you will be able to recollect this formula very easily. So the formula is S is equal to P into R. Okay. S here is the suffering. P here is the pain. And R is the resistance. How you are resisting that situation, that person, or that thing. ठीक है? Everybody clear? Formula क्या है? S is equal to P into R. Pain is something which will always remain. We have decided that. We have already discussed that and agreed upon. P will never change. P is going to be the same. तो P को हम मान लेते हैं 100 है. 100 यूनिट्स का पेन आपको लाइफ में मिलेगा. ये कार्मिक है. वो मिल रहा है. 100 यूनिट है. अब सफरिंग कितनी होगी ये आपके ऊपर है. क्यों? क्योंकि इट इज योर रेजिस्टेंस विच इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज दैट सफरिंग, which means your resistance or your acceptance. So let us understand resistance. अगर मैं बोलता हूँ ये बॉस को ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए, मेरा बॉस तो बहुत ही घटिया इंसान है, हिटलर है, लाइक आई यूज्ड टू से, इसको मर जाना चाहिए, इसके मरने के बाद ही मैं खुश हो सकता हूँ, मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद हो गई है, and all that stuff. What I'm doing, I'm resisting that person. That person could be anyone in your life. As long as you're resisting that person, as long as you're resisting that organization, situation हो गई ना, ये कंपनी ही बर्बाद है, इस कंपनी में काम करने से कोई फायदा नहीं है, मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद हो रही है, आई हैव वेस्टेड 10 years, आई एम गोइंग टू वेस्ट माय होल लाइफ. ये सब रेजिस्टेंस है. अंडरस्टैंड दिस काइंड ऑफ डायलॉग्स इज ए रेजिस्टेंस. व्हाट आर यू डूइंग बाय रेजिस्टिंग? सपोज यू आर पुटिंग 10 units of resistance you have put. Now what is your suffering? Pain 100 था, into 10, your suffering is to the magnitude of 1000. Rupa, hold on, I will not take any sharing right now. Hold on. Okay, so suffering क्या है अभी? 1000 हो गया, जबकि पेन 100 था. क्यों? मैंने रेजिस्टेंस 10 गुना उसको बढ़ा दिया. If I accept organization is one of the best organization, though it is not doing justice to me, organization is very good. Okay, the boss after all is a human being. He is not a devil with 2 horns on the head. He is a human being. People love him. There is something which I need to change my attitude towards my boss or towards that person. Now I have mellowed down. I am looking into myself and seeing what is the reason for me or for his behavior to me in that way. I'm looking into possible solutions. So first I accept the situation the way it is and the way it is not. Does that make sense? एक्सेप्टेंस के साथ क्या हो जाएगा, रेजिस्टेंस 0 हो जाएगा अगर, तो क्या होगा, पेन 100 ही है। ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में अभी भी मेरे को प्रमोशन नहीं मिल रही, अभी भी बॉस मेरे को चिल्ला रहा है, अभी भी फाइल उठा के फेंकता है, सब कुछ कर रहा है वो, लेकिन मेरी एक्सेप्टेंस लेवल मैंने बढ़ा ली है, अब रेजिस्टेंस 0 है। व्हाट विल हैपन टू द सफरिंग? 100 into 0 is
0.
0. सफरिंग गोस। पेन है अभी भी, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वही है, बॉस वही है, अभी भी चिल्ला रहा है, लेकिन अब मैं अंदर से खुश हूँ, मैं हंस रहा हूँ। आई कैन सी हिज voice in different terminologies. I can see a comedian. I can see a dog barking. I can see anything that I want to see. So I am not impacted by that. बॉस तो वही कर रहा है, लेकिन मेरे अंदर इम्पैक्ट नहीं हो रहा है। मेरे अंदर जितने टाइम बॉम्ब थे मैंने उनको डिफ्यूज कर दिए, अब मेरे अंदर टाइम बॉम्ब नहीं फूट रहे, अब मेरे को गुस्सा नहीं आ रहा। How many of you can connect with this? The resistance can be made 0 if my acceptance level goes high. मैं एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ किसी को अपनी लाइफ में, वो ऐसा क्यों है, वो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, गॉन। आप रेसिस्ट करते रहो उसको, आपकी सफरिंग बढ़ती रहेगी। आप उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लो, रेसिस्टेंस 0 कर दो, आपकी सफरिंग खत्म हो जाएगी, पेन कहीं नहीं जाएगा। पेन तो कार्मिक है। So your partner, life partner, business partner, parents, siblings, children, neighbors, सब वहीं रहेंगे, सब वैसे ही हैं, और वो बहुत अच्छे हैं, by the way. And by the way, you don't deserve anything better than that. There is no mistake in the universe. आपको यूनिवर्स से वही मिला है जो आप डिजर्व करते हो। यू डिजर्व दैट बॉस, यू डिजर्व दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, यू डिजर्व दोज पेरेंट्स, यू डिजर्व दोज चिल्ड्रन। ओके, कुछ भी गलत नहीं हो रहा है यूनिवर्स में, आपको कार्मिक लर्निंग लेना नहीं आया। जिस दिन वो ले लोगे, एक्सेप्टेंस बढ़ जाएगी, सफरिंग 0 हो जाएगी। How many of you can at least listen and understand what I'm saying? रियलिटी बनाने में टाइम लगेगा, बट यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड एंड यू कैन स्टार्ट मूविंग इन दैट पाथ। गुड। So what is opening up? Anybody who wants to share? Meanwhile, Sanjeev, you raise your hand. You want to share something? And after that, Gunjan. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that reminded me of Krishna's example, about the boss. So, many of you do not know, once when I used to work for the organization, I used to work for an insurance company as a trainer. So, insurance company has this model of agency model कि sales person होते हैं, वो agency में agents को appoint करते हैं. Agents work, they go and fetch the business. So there was a sales manager in our branch who was like very fussy, very cribbing, और वो सबके पीछे पड़ा रहता था. And one day, one agent, I was sitting very close to some place, and I heard somebody's mobile ringing, and the sound was barking, boom, 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 boom. It was very strange. Krishna, this is especially for you. So, and being a trainer, I used to have very good connection with all the agents. I asked him, ये tone is क्या है, ये barking tone क्या है? बोले मेरे sales manager की tone है. So, Shashi, when you were telling, this reminded me ki, you can make him a cartoon. You can make him a joke. You can keep anything. So, the person was same, and he was always laughing and make others laugh because of that tone. That's what I wanted to share.
Very good, Sanjeev. Thank you for sharing that. So when the call comes, he knows what is in store. हाँ? वो वहां से कुछ बोलेगा, तो उसको यही विजुअलाइज करना है कि कोई डॉग बाग कर रहा है, दैट्स द एंड ऑफ इट। अंदर कुछ जाएगा ही नहीं, बाहर से ही निकल जाएगा ना, तो आपके अंदर कोई टाइम बम नहीं फूटेगा। करेक्ट, वेरी गुड, बहुत बढ़िया। ऑल राइट, एनीबडी एल्स हु वांट्स टू शेयर? गुंजन, यू रेज योर हैंड, यू स्टिल रिमेंबर?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember. So there was a situation of late, एक दो दिन पहले ही। तो एक मेरे पास पेपर वर्क आता है किसी का, and there was a card in it, debit card था, and you know my situations also, and मैंने inform कर दिया कि आपका कार्ड आया, and then immediately reaction came कि खर्च ना लेना कहीं पैसे, उसमें पैसे कितने हैं। तो मैंने कहा अब तो पक्का खर्चूंगी। तो बट आई नेवर वेंट टू द एटीएम। मेरे कहा जब मेरे पास नंबर ही नहीं है तो मैं कहाँ से उसका पिन विन जनरेट करूंगी, कहाँ से ले सकती हूँ, उसमें है क्या देखूं तो सही, पर देखना तो बनता है। तो वो एक कीड़ा था, बट स्टिल मैंने उसको जाने दिया, मैंने कहा छोड़ो, क्या रिएक्ट करना है इसके ऊपर। तो आई नेवर रेजिस्टेड।
Okay, got it.
पहले मुझे गुस्सा आता था कि हर बात पे शक।
Okay, all right, that's okay, fine. Yes, let's acknowledge Gunjan. Yes, first I will come to Rupa and then to Parina. Yeah. Yes, Rupa, go ahead.
So suffering is equal to pain into resistance. Everything is understood. Resistance is zero. Acceptance is there. So suffering is equal to pain, correct?
No, suffering is zero. Pain तो वहीं रहेगा. Multiplication है रूपा, क्या कहाँ रह गए?
Multiplication pain तो वही रहेगा ही रहेगा ना. तो
पेन
वो
रहेगा,
फिर
सफरिंग जीरो हो जाएगा ना. आपका एक्सपीरियंस सफरिंग का
तो
है, पेन का नहीं.
पेन को कैसे दूर करना है?
पेन नहीं कम होगा, वो कार्मिक है. उससे सीखो, लर्निंग सीखो और आगे बढ़ जाओ. पेन अपने आप चला जाएगा बाद में, वो दोबारा नहीं आएगा. If you have taken the correct learning from that karmic event, the pain will never happen again. It is gone. It was supposed to give you learning. That's all. नहीं सीखा तो वो बार बार आएगा, बार बार आएगा. जब तक नहीं सीखोगे तब तक आएगा. जिस दिन सीख लोगे पेन चला जाएगा. पर जब तक वो पेन है, आप उसको एक्सेप्ट करते रहो तो सफरिंग जीरो रहेगी. Is that clear to everybody? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Is that okay? सोचो,
Yeah.
सोचो उसके बारे में. Yes. Okay, let's acknowledge Rupa. Very good. Yes, Parina, go ahead.
Just we were talking about this workplace, so I just had something to share in that regard. The only deal is, Shashi ji, I was thinking, जैसे आपने ये बात बताई कि you need to introspect, या आप अगर अपने आप से सोचें कि क्या ऐसा डिस्कनेक्ट है आपके मैनेजर के साथ, आपके वर्क प्लेस के साथ. So I just an example from my previous workplace where I used to be, that sometimes even after all the introspection, you realize that it's coming from the other side. Like, you, no matter what you do, how you align yourself, how you change yourself or alter yourself, it's not going to make a difference to what is coming towards you. आप एटीट्यूड चेंज करें, सब करें, मगर वो सामने वाला, और उसका ऑब्वियसली आप कोई नहीं है उसका एक्शन रोकने के लिए या चेंज करने के लिए. सो आई थिंक जो हम पहले ये बात कर रहे थे कि एक तरीका ये है कि हम इसको एक्सेप्ट करें, अपने अंदर चेंज करें. What if you change, you do things around you for yourself, changing the attitude, hoping things change around you, that change around doesn't come. So what you do ultimately, like in my case, what I did was that I realized that this seems to be a downward spiral, that it's not ending, no matter what you do. So then I chose to separate myself from that situation, in the sense that very gracefully I put in my papers that, like we need to decide कि pain से कैसे अपने आप को अलग किया जाए.
Yes.
Am I right in thinking this way or not?
Yes.
Like this.
Correct. You have to first understand. Very good. First of all, I just acknowledge Parina ji for a very, very good introspection and a very good sharing. So first of all, you need to understand this. You working in an organization is karmic. You getting that boss is karmic. तो जो कुछ आपको उससे एक्सपीरियंस लेके सीखना है वो आपको कार्मिक है, कार्मिक लर्निंग है. उसके बाद जैसे आपने कहा, आइदर यू लीव द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ओके, और योर बॉस फाइंड्स अ न्यू ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. वो भी काम हो जाता है. I used to do that very easily. My bosses used to leave. Right? And sometimes you can leave, and sometimes you can leave the organization because आपका वहाँ पे कार्मिक जो था वो खत्म हो गया. Now you are going to go further up in your career. So आप नए जंप लेके आगे जाते हो. तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस चेंज होती हैं, बॉस चेंज होता है, राइट. पर सफरिंग नहीं होनी चाहिए. पेन जरूर रहेगा, सफरिंग नहीं होनी चाहिए. सफरिंग इज ऑलवेज स्टिल ए चॉइस, ऑलवेज ए चॉइस. उस बॉस से लड़ाई झगड़ा होना था, मैच नहीं हुआ, दैट इज कार्मिक. एब्सोल्युटली परफेक्ट. सो यू पुट इन योर पेपर्स एंड यू ग्रेसफुली मूव आउट. परफेक्ट. और आगे चल के आपको अच्छा ही होगा.
So basically, I think basically we need to decide like how to tackle with pain. I think that is basically the crux, no? That you need to keep it at a
Learn from the
different
pain. I would say not tackle. Learn from the pain and reduce the suffering.
True.
That is the only way to live life, and that is not only for a job. That is true for any relation. दैट इज ट्रू फॉर एवरी सिचुएशन. हर सिचुएशन में सफरिंग को जीरो रखो और पेन को देखो. जब पेन आपका लग रहा है कि आपने सही लर्निंग ले ली है, आइदर यू ग्रेसफुली मूव आउट ऑफ दैट रिलेशनशिप और दैट प्लेस एंड मूव ऑन इन लाइफ. क्योंकि कुछ भी लाइफ में परमानेंट नहीं है. किसी भी चीज को परमानेंट मत मानो. नॉट इवन रिलेशनशिप्स, बाय द वे. डोंट मेजर द रिलेशनशिप बाय द एक्सटेंट ऑफ द टुगेदरनेस और द टाइम ऑफ दैट रिलेशनशिप. उस टाइम में कितना लव, पीस एंड जॉय आपने एक्सपीरियंस किया, कितना आपने शेयर किया, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. Right? A beautiful relationship can be of 5 years, and a 20 years relationship doesn't mean that it is very, very, very joyful. It can be a burden also. So don't go judge a relationship by the extent of the tenor. कितना लंबा relationship चला, that is not actually a measure of how much joy or love or peace you experienced and you shared. Correct? Very good, Parnaji. Very good sharing. Okay, anybody else who want to share? Swati ji, anything you want to share before Vijay ji? Vijay ji, yes, go ahead. Vijay ji.
Yeah, so Shashidhar ji, मैं यही कहना चाह रहा था कि I enjoyed the formula, and this resistance bit that comes is basically जो acceptance और detachment नहीं होगा वस्तु व्यक्ति पर.
बिल्कुल.
तो जहाँ आपने अपने आप को डिटैच करके you can see it in a more outside way, more objectively, then you can decide whether you want to tackle the pain or you just have to accept it and move on. Because you can change your boss, but sometimes you cannot change your spouse. No. So with the spouse in the relationship, if there is pain, you can still have no resistance and you can enjoy the beautiful relationship.
Yeah. So for some relationship where you can't move out, वैसे तो आजकल वो भी कोई बहुत बड़ा इशू नहीं रहा है वैसे, but still if you feel that that is a relationship where you can't move out, then you should come and attend our seminar. We have a seminar going on for that. That will tell you how not to move out of the program, and I mean how not to move out of a relationship and still enjoy love, peace and joy and bliss, and that's what we are experiencing there in the program. Yeah, so you're a right candidate for that. Okay, let's acknowledge Vijay ji. That is in a lighter vein, but yes, I understand what you're trying to say. पर कार्मिक लेसन वहां पे भी है सर. एंड एक रिलेशनशिप का एक जो पर्पस होता है एक स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ एंड कंट्रीब्यूशन. तो ये थोड़ा सा ज्ञान की बात है बस, है ना. तो अगर आप क्लियर है आपको, तो फिर आप आगे इस रिलेशनशिप में भी अपना लव, पीस एंड जॉय क्रिएट कर लेंगे. थैंक यू. यस, एनीबडी एल्स हु वांट्स टू शेयर? रूपा, यू रेज योर हैंड. एंड या स्वाति जी, गो अहेड.
आई एग्री विद फरीना कि कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि हम लोग ऐसे तो सब कुछ कर लेते हैं, बट फिर भी वो सिचुएशन कहीं पे भी चेंज नहीं होती है. एंड यू कैन नॉट बी गोइंग एवरी डे एंड गेटिंग हर्ट. बार बार में हम उसी सिचुएशन में जाके अपने आप को हर्ट करें, तो समटाइम्स इट्स बेटर टू ग्रेसफुली लीव. और विजय जी ने जो बोला वो भी सही है. यू कैन चेंज योर बॉस बट यू कैन नॉट चेंज योर स्पाउस और द पीपल इन योर हाउस. दैट आई रियली बिलीव. एंड आई थिंक थोड़ा सा एक्सेप्टेंस मोड में धीरे धीरे आ रही हूँ कुछ महीनों से शायद मैं भी. और ये ऐसा नहीं कि डिस्टर्ब नहीं हो रही, अभी भी कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा हो रहा है. तो बट वन थिंग आई विल शेयर इज few months back there was something we were doing together with someone, and I was not okay with that and I left. तो कभी ऐसा 2 दिन तक थोड़ा फील हुआ. But it sometimes happens कि when you leave from somewhere, you get new avenues too.
Absolutely. And anyway, if you have taken the karmic learning, then you will definitely grow, and then you will get the new avenues coming in, which will improve and which will provide a opportunity for spiritual growth. Ultimately, you have to grow. That is the only. It's just like water flowing. पानी को रोक नहीं सकते, कहीं ना कहीं बह के निकलेगा ही निकलेगा. वैसे ही आपकी जो सोल की जो जर्नी है वो इवोल्यूशन की है, और सोल जर्नी आगे बढ़ेगी ही बढ़ेगी. तो आपको बस कॉन्शियसली उस पाथ को चूज करना है जो आपको स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ दे. वेरी गुड स्वाति जी, बहुत बढ़िया.
थैंक यू.
ऑलराइट, यस, हु एल्स? कृष्णा, यू रेज योर हैंड, गो अहेड.
Although I was trying to introspect and I realized कि in a very short time I switched like 3 companies, and हर बार मैंने कंपनी को ही दोष दिया. So पहले I was in an individual contributor role. तो आई वाज लाइक यहाँ कुछ सीखने के लिए नहीं है, नो टेक्स्ट जो भी है मतलब कि देन आई वेंट इनटू अ मैनेजमेंट रोल। फिर वहां भी जाके आई सफर्ड एंड मैंने कंपनी को दोष दिया एंड देन आई स्विच टू अनदर कंपनी कि अब यहाँ पे तो चीजें बेटर हो जाएगी, but the suffering is still there. So now I realize it's not the organization mostly, but it's my ability to how to tackle people around me and how to tackle things. तो वो जब तक लर्निंग नहीं आएगी सफरिंग तो रहेगी।
Very good, Krishna. That's a very good learning actually.
और वो लर्निंग
Yes.
बहुत मुश्किल हो रही है।
यार जहां तक आप टैकल सोचते रहोगे ना दिमाग में नहीं होएगा, डिटैचमेंट और एक्सेप्टेंस सोचना पड़ेगा।
Yeah. So first, stop resisting. That is the first step. क्योंकि रेसिस्टेंस कम करते ही आपकी सफरिंग कम हो जाएगी। फिर पेन को कैसे हैंडल करना है देख सकते हैं, वरना लोग पेन को हैंडल ही नहीं करे, वो लोग सफरिंग में ही डूब गए हैं फिर, है ना। क्योंकि रेसिस्टेंस छोड़ नहीं रहे हैं तो सफरिंग में मरे जा रहे हैं। यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, यहाँ पे लोग मर रहे हैं। पेन से कोई नहीं मरता है, पेन से तो लर्निंग आ जाती है। ओनली थिंग इज यू हैव टू स्टॉप द सफरिंग, जिसके लिए रेजिस्टेंस को जीरो करना जरूरी है। तो रिमेंबर दिस फॉर्मूला, S is equal to P into R. This of course is not given by Buddha, huh? This is come from my understanding, but I am talking of the basic understanding of what is suffering. So just to do a quick recap, हमने क्या क्या देखा? Suffering, which is predominant in humanity right now due to any reason. Suffering is very common for all the people of all ages and at every situation. What is the reason behind that? Attachment, Raga Dvesh. That is the attachment. So that is the reason for the suffering. And pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And the formula, remember that, S is equal to P into R. तो आपको लाइफ में एक्सेप्ट करना है, because what you resist will persist, what you accept will vanish. So the moment you accept, आपका रेजिस्टेंस जीरो हो जाएगा, आपकी सफरिंग जीरो हो जाएगी, देन द पेन में से आप कार्मिक लेसन ले सकते हो और फिर लाइफ में आगे बढ़ सकते हो। So that is the summarization for today. So anybody who wants to share what is opened up for you in this session, I'll take a quick sharing. I still have maybe 5 minutes or so, but before that, Sanjeev, yeah, over to you.
Actually, I think this topic should continue next week because a lot of still needs to be opened up, first of all. Second, I would somehow, from my point of view, not saying to anyone what Parina and agreed by Swati and Vijayji somehow, I don't agree to that concept. Okay, and why I'm saying, probably if we stick to that concept, basically, maybe I'll talk in detail later on. It is a little lengthier thing next time, but that may not lead to end of suffering. And that's why I don't agree to that point. And just want to say, and that's why I would like to say, if you can continue this next Wednesday, we can actually have proper understanding, because this is such a point which needs to clarify a lot. It's not a theoretical session which can be done in 1 hour. That's what my point is.
Sure,
Thank
Sanjeev.
you,
Because we have
Sanjeev,
started.
sir.
Yeah. So let's
Even
acknowledge
I was
Sanjeev.
feeling the same. I
I
was
would
feeling the
also
same.
agree. I
Hold on,
also
hold on.
agree.
Hold on. We have just started this series on Buddha's teaching. This is the first session. I'm not going to do that for 1 or 2 weeks. I'm going to do that for maybe 15-20 weeks. So relax. आपको बहुत कुछ मिलेगा क्या? So Sanjeev, I didn't get an opportunity to discuss with you because you were busy and I didn't get the time. So this is a series of teachings that we are taking up. So every day we will pick up some thread of that and then connect with the main thread. Yeah. Since Buddha started with suffering, so I started with my first episode with the suffering part. So soon we will go into the depths of the complete Buddha's teaching. So all of you will be on the path of self-realization soon. Yes. So your soul journey will take off. I can guarantee you that much. So everybody happy now? Yes. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of the session.
And
Anybody
Shashi,
who wants to share?
Shashi, I would like that, Parina, if I forget next time, please remind me what is the difference of opinion, so that I may forget to answer on this point, but you need to ask me next time what is the difference of opinion.
Of
I'll
course, I'm not going to forget that, Sanjeev ji. I'm definitely going to raise my hand first when we meet next Wednesday, and I'm going to ask you that.
Sure.
You've left a very good क्या कहते हैं, curiosity quotient for the next episode. So I'll be eagerly waiting.
He has given a teaser for the next
Oh
sequel.
yes, it's a fantastic teaser for next Wednesday. Watch this
Food for
space for more.
thought.
All right.
for
So with this, we
thought.
come to the end of the session. Anybody who wants to share before final words? Anybody who wants to share takeaway from the session before we close the session? कोई कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे? क्या लेके जा रहे हैं आज इस सेशन से? Anything that opened up? New people. अंशु जी, क्या लेके जा रहे हैं? Anything that you can share? Meenakshi ji is also there. I think
So
they are.
yeah, so Shashi, I actually learned that we really need to look at pain points, and the suffering is definitely in our hand, and we have to make a roadmap to उसको कैसे work around करना है, कैसे उस पे हमें अपने roadmaps बनाने हैं जिससे हम उसको कम कर सकें. That's what.
Okay.
And that आप यूटिलाइज भी व्यक्ति और वस्तु और there was one more thing that was really hero line of the whole session.
Okay, very good, Anshu ji. Let's acknowledge Anshu ji for that. And I will request all the people who have come here for the first time, please leave your mobile number in the chat so that I can send you the recording for this session. And also, if you would like to join our Wednesday group, so we will give you send you an invitation where you can join us in the DHV group so that you can be aware of the next week agenda and the topic. Okay, so you can just write down, whoever has come for the first time, just write down in the chat box your name and your number. Yes. Anybody else who would like to share? What are you taking away from the session today?
Sir, very good revision of the thing. Suffering equal to pain into resistance. When the resistance is 0, suffering is 0. It requires this I was gifted long time back in 2004 and 5. That has changed my life. And I'm really thankful to Buddha teaching. Tatatha. Seeing
Thank
the
you, sir.
isness in the things.
Thank you. Let's acknowledge VP Singh ji.
It was a very good revision today.
Yeah. So Aman ji, if you want to see the recording, you have to send me your mobile number so that I can send it to you. Right? Yes. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of the session. Thank you very much.
Actually, Swati wanted to share something.
Okay. Swati ji, kahan hai? Yes, please go ahead. Swati ji, go ahead.
संजीव जी, मैं तो अगले हफ्ते तक शायद ही रुकूंगी. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है मैं आज ही आपसे बात करूं. What is the difference? वो अगले सीरियल तक रुकना is very like 1 week waiting would be very long.
Don't worry, we will make that the major point, major agenda, major topic for the next session. Yeah. But anyway, you are free to talk to him anytime.
Can I speak something else today as well? Just for 2 minutes?
Yeah. Go ahead. You want to share anything?
मैंने आज वैसे एक वीडियो भेजा भी था, बट आज मैं वापस से यही बात बोलना चाहती हूँ कि नथिंग कम्स फॉर फ्री. रियली नथिंग कम्स फॉर फ्री. बहुत बार कहीं पे भी जैसे हम फ्री सुनते हैं ना, तो हम वो चीज लेने की कोशिश करते हैं, बट डेफिनेटली दैट पर्सन इज गिविंग, या वो संस्था हमको फ्री दे रही है, बट इट एड्स ऑन टू योर कार्मिक अकाउंट. तो हम उस कार्मिक अकाउंट को जितना कम कर सकते हैं कीजिए जरूर, बाय कंट्रीब्यूटिंग इन दैट. वो संस्था में किसी तरह से कंट्रीब्यूट करके, या जो वॉलंटियर्स काम कर रहे हैं उनको थैंक यू बोल के, या कहीं आप कुछ सीख रहे हो तो ऑफ कोर्स इफ इट इज फ्री एज वेल, at least you can give the feedback. That is the what is called as, क्या बोला जाता है वो, एनर्जी एक्सचेंज जैसे बोला जाता है प्रोफेशनली. तो जब ये फ्री होता है तब एटलीस्ट यू कैन गिव सम फीडबैक. तो मैं आज सबसे इस वक्त ये रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहती हूँ कि शशि सर जो भी, मैं तो बहुत न्यू हूँ शायद, दिस इज द सेकेंड टाइम मे बी आई एम जॉइनिंग, सेकेंड और थर्ड टाइम आई डोंट नो, but I just want to request कि I've joined in this free course only right now, कि जितने भी लोग यहाँ अटेंड कर रहे हैं, अगर ये वीडियो बन रहा है और आप लोग वीडियो देखोगे तो उसको लाइक कीजिए, उसके ऊपर कमेंट भी डालिए, क्योंकि दैट इज द एनर्जी एक्सचेंज दैट यू आर गिविंग टू हिम, टू एनीबडी. आप कोई भी यूट्यूब पे भी अगर आप किसी और का वीडियो देख रहे हो और आपको ऐसे लग रहा है कि उस चीज में लर्निंग है सच में, तो आई थिंक that person or that organization does deserve a thank you or a like or something. I don't know, whichever way you can. Sometimes some people might say कि नहीं, हम तो दिल से ही उसको धन्यवाद देते हैं. That is also fine. That is also okay. But it's your choice. But I just wanted to put forth this कि nothing really comes for free. And thank you, Shashi ji, and thank you, Amit, like for introducing me in. Gunjan, thank you. And Sanjeev ji, I'm just looking forward to talk to you. I don't know when. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you,
Thank you
Swati
all.
ji.
Yeah.
Let's acknowledge Swati ji. It's a very, very great, noble idea. Yes, you should always give back to the universe. We have got so much from the universe. We should always give it back to the universe. और कहीं से भी आपको कोई भी ज्ञान मिल रहा है, and spiritual ज्ञान is the highest kind of, ज्ञान you can share. So if you're getting it, why not share it with people in your life? आपको कुछ नया करने की जरूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ एक लाइक बटन दबाना है और फिर अपने ग्रुप में शेयर करना है. वीडियो तो मैं आपको भेज ही रहा हूँ. हाँ, कोई वीडियो बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Just share it with your people. You don't know who is going to wake up. And thanks, Rupa, you gave me a couple of references today. I will add them up, of course. Some of our old schoolmates and all. But yes, make a difference in people's life. That is how you can best contribute to people. That is how you can awaken others and you can move forward in your spiritual journey. Contribution is a big way. Yes. So thank you, Swati ji, for reminding me that. So with this, we come to the end of the session. Enjoy a great day, enjoy a great week, and we meet again next week with a lot more action
Thank
and a lot more
you.
action for
Thank you
Sanjeev
so
also.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Aham
Thank you.
Brahmasmi.
Thank you.
Brahmasmi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.